So when is it a safe time to travel with your newborn baby? Several weeks ago, I had a couple who weren't quite sure if they wanted to make this long trip with their church family out to a really special occasion that they love to attend all the time. But now they have a newborn in tow. And I also had another family a few weeks ago who were thinking of traveling to visit a grandparent in another state and were wondering if they could travel with their newborn by air. These are very common questions when you have a newborn because, you have to take them into consideration now. Prior to having a newborn to care for, you could just decide where you wanted to go and jump into a car or hop on a plane. But now with the newborn, there are certainly considerations to consider, or things to consider. And as I walked through with these families, I think a few things to think about will be, first of all, are you going to be around crowds of people that you have no control over or have very little confidence of knowing when someone is really sick, that they will let you know they're sick? That will be something to consider, because then it means that your newborn may be exposed to someone who's sick unbeknownst to you. The other thing also to consider is, are you ready to be able to be flexible with that trip? So for instance, if you're going on a road trip, you might have to stop several times to care for your newborn. On the other hand, though, if your newborn happens to be sleeping quietly in their car seat, you don't have to take them out of the car seat or stop so you can just give them, a break or stretch them or take them out of the car seat. The car seat is usually designed, a very good car seat is designed to be able to hold your baby securely in place. And so if your baby is sleeping calmly and breathing, calmly, there's no reason to stop if you can make grounds, or if you're doing a car trip or a road trip when your baby is calm. So all that being said, again, you do have to consider a baby in tow and whether you have the time to have a trip that may take much longer than it normally takes when it's just you or older children in the car. Now, when it comes to air travel, a few things to think about will be, first off, that this may take longer, and so you do want to take time, get to the airport on time, because you might be arriving just in time to check in, and then your baby has a blowout and he has to be, or she has to be changed, and so you want to give yourself extra time. Make sure you have extra clothing and supplies readily available. Oftentimes, that's usually the case in almost every airline, is families with newborns are going to board first. And oftentimes you may be able to go through a priority lane during check-in. And so I don't think it's as bad really at an airport, especially if it's an airport that's not terribly crowded. You oftentimes can find some wide open space where you can care for your baby without being concerned that you have a bunch of people breathing down them. And when it's time to check in, use a priority lane so you can check in quickly and get through to your seat in the plane. Now, one tip for when you are taking off, because pressure can sometimes be an issue when you have a baby in tow and they can be really uncomfortable, is you can try and see if you can plan a feeding around takeoff. So whether that's breastfeeding or bottle feeding, just so you can get them, or even just put a pacifier in your baby's mouth so they are actively swallowing during takeoff and landing. That sometimes can relieve the pressure that newborns feel. Well, I hope these tips will have been useful for you to at least think through if you're going to be traveling with a newborn, either by car or by air. Certainly, there is no contraindication to traveling with a newborn, even a few weeks after birth. It really boils down to your comfort level and your being able to sort of handle the extra time and stress with traveling with a newborn. But when it comes to like a medical clearance, unless your newborn has some special medical condition going on, usually if they're a healthy newborn, you really can travel with them. All right, well, I hope this is useful. Wherever you're watching this, there'll be resources to help you. This is Dr. Obidi of the Newborn Prep Academy and pediatrician at Partners in Pediatrics and Family Health. Reach out if you need any additional information. We'll be glad to provide that for you. All right, thank you. And subscribe to the channel so you can always get new content when it drops.